Hi, and welcome back. It's Tuesday morning, and you're watching the Kaiser Report. I'm John. I'm here to talk to you today about a few things that are going on in and around the world today that is quite bothersome to me, and wondering what your thoughts are on it. And we have a comment section, and I hope that maybe you'll let me know what you're thinking on a few of these things. But I believe that we're living through an orchestrated attempt at control by several governments getting together to keep us ever vigilant and worried about what the state of affairs are with regard to an impending World War III. The fact that Iran had given the world 72 hours of notice that they were going to rain both drones and missiles into the state of Israel is bothersome to me because the world leaders paid no attention to it. It was like they knew it was getting ready to happen, and they were forewarned about it. And even the President of the United States stayed in Rehoboth Beach, until Sunday. Didn't care that this was happening because I believe they already knew that this was coming. And I already think that we have, much like our Congress gets together and both sides of the aisle become one, I believe that there's several important nations that have people in power that are talking amongst each other and keeping us all on pins and needles for control issues. It's becoming more and more evident on a daily basis. And then you look at the nonsense and the wasted time that's happening in the Senate right now with Schumer trying to squash the impeachment process that the Congress worked so hard to put together against Mayorkas. And there's no interest on the Democratic side of even having a trial on this, which is in the first time in this country's history of the 20 some that were previous that went to full trials, guilty or not guilty. Why is Schumer trying so hard to block this? What are they covering up, and what are they hiding from the American citizens and, in fact, the world? Why is our border so wide open? We have talked about that many times here, excuse me, on this program and other programs that you can tune into and watch on this platform and several other platforms that will enlighten you to the fact that we are being manipulated. The border has been left open for a reason. We absorbed 10 to 11 million people into this country to work, to take jobs, to replace certain individuals that don't want to work. We're giving away money that we are printing because we no longer have it in our treasury. We've given money to wars that we have no business even talking about, never mind being funding. And I'm talking about the Ukraine. We have several world leaders that are hell-bent on controlling the population, staying in power, and it's not going to filter down to the average person. It does not. The rich in this country are controlling things and using the government now as a tool to do that. I never thought I'd see the day that this would be taking place, but it is. Wake up and realize what this world is becoming. It's becoming a control by individuals that have power and do not want to relinquish that power. The voting situation in this country that everyone has been told to hang their hat on because it's going to be this way or that way, and it's going to be this person and not that person. And then while you have a candidate that's being held hostage by the courts of New York, so he can't campaign, can't even go to his own son's graduation from high school, because a judge in New York says because of gag orders and things of that nature, he can't campaign in the Carolinas. He can't campaign in Georgia and in places where he has been scheduled to speak. This is election interference at its finest. And it's being controlled by what sits in the White House right now. If you look at the major cities in this country right now, you're looking at Batman's Gotham. And unfortunately, the character of Batman is being played by Donald J. Trump. And to a lesser degree, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Why do the good guys get put into situations that they can't get out of, or the left thinks they can't get out of? Being a New Yorker, you view business deals and negotiations a little bit differently than the rest of the country does, and sometimes the rest of the world. Because it's a rough and tumble place to grow up, and it's a rough and tumble place to negotiate, and people are aggressive in New York. I mean, think about the movies, Hey, I'm walking here. This is the type of attitude that you get out of a New Yorker. And not a stupid New Yorker, because we're mostly educated business people that are thriving in New York. You don't build an empire in New York by being a sweet man or a sweet woman. You have to be ready to fight tooth and nail for what you want. And it's evident in Donald Trump right now in his campaigns to regain the president. Why he wants to do this and put himself through that, I don't understand why any human being would do that to himself and his family. But this kangaroo court in New York has tried every trick in the book, to starting with Letitia James, and now with this fake judge that's demanding that he can't go to his son's graduation because he might say something about them. New York is a mess right now. Look at our major cities. It is Gotham. It's gone from a light on a hill to darkness, just like the Batman movies. And if you look at the cast of characters that are, sitting in positions in the White House right now and in the cabinet, you can relate them. And we'll do that in another broadcast. I'm going to bring you character by character who's playing who. But we're all being played in someone else's vignette and controlled on a daily basis. We're being controlled by Big Pharma. We're being controlled by the military-industrial complex. President Eisenhower warned us about that. If you're a fan of history, you can read it. This is not a good situation for America. And if you look at what's happened in France and happening in England and Germany, it's not the same countries as they were. And Italy is fragile. Greece is fragile. Yet we have to turn on the news every day that is bought and paid for by whoever is in power, running the political machine that is out to dupe us into believing whatever they say and to destroy whatever candidate they don't like for the sake of staying in power. Look over here, because I don't want you to see what's here. This is how they're operating. It's as plain as the nose on your face that we are being lied to on a daily basis by media, by our government officials, and our Congress and our Senate is doing the biddings of someone that we don't see that's behind the curtain. And the worst of it all right now is Chuck Schumer, with his bid to just dismiss the Mayorkas thing and keep the border wide open. So when his senators that are going to be primaried and their seats are going to be up for re-election, don't have to say, I voted against closing the border, I voted for closing the border, and they're going to lose their seats. It's all a protective situation run by Schumer, and it's no different than the shift show that we had with the what would apply to the Trump impeachments no longer apply to anybody that's on the Democratic side of the aisle. How does that smack of favoritism? We have a handful of senators that are going to try and fight this, but my fear is that they'll lose or succumb to some kind of a backroom deal that we're not going to be privy to because we don't belong to that club. We have to stop and prepare ourselves for what is coming. There is a reason that they demand that this border stay open. And I'd love to know what that reason is. AI, you'd be very afraid of what's going on there. And when these politicians get a hold of it, look out. It's just another avenue of cheat, another way to pull the wool over the American population's eyes. And what's going on through the world right now with power-hungry people should be frightening to us all. They have pushed religion from the schools. They have pushed religion from the home. They have pushed the family unit apart. They have divided us by race. They have divided us by income. And they are taxing the hell out of us right now with food prices, gasoline prices, home heating oil, you name it. We're looking at major increases in pricing. And now they're talking about adding another tax to cover all of the money that was laundered out of here to the Ukraine, to Zelensky, with no accountability. And now we're going to turn our back on a great ally in the Middle East, Israel. This cannot continue if we are to survive as the nation that was founded by our founding fathers to be a bastion of freedom and a home for the poor, the tired, and the hungry, which are not what's coming through the border now. We don't know half the time where these people are coming from, what their intentions are when they get here. And it's a shame. There are probably some good people that have crossed in and will become citizens or want to become citizens. Whether or not they're allowed to, we don't know. But I'll guarantee you this. There's a Democratic population that sits in power right now that see them only as a vote to keep them in power. They're not doing this out of the goodness of their hearts or that they care about these individuals that are coming across the border. They could care less about you, me, or them. They care about two things: the vote and the power to maintain and control you. They want to control your foodstuffs. They want to control how you vote. They want to control the education process to keep you down. God forbid you should really study civics or the Constitution, because then you'll know how criminal it is at the acts that they've pulled for the last 3 3/4 of a year. Actually, more than that, because you could take it right back to the Obama administration and the Bush administration. It's two wings of the same bird. Our representation is very, very minute. There may be a couple of people in there that really care. And they're being put down, made fun of, and maligned on a daily basis. You have a president that came in, spent his entire 4-year term in adversity, but kept every campaign promise he made before he went in. Is his personality one that you want to go hang out with? Probably not, because he says some crazy things. But I'd rather have somebody that insults someone else on Twitter rather than somebody that will give our country away to our enemies. And if you want to take a quick look at Iran, who sent the plane load of cash to Iran in the first place to get their nuclear arms program up and running? That was Obama. Who sent the second load of cash over to make sure that, we stayed friends with them? That was Biden. Who put the sanctions on China and had the nerve to stand up to China? That was Trump. Who put the pressure on Iran? Who took out Soleimani? That was Trump. Now they turn around the other day and they blame the bombing by Iran of Israel. They're trying to blame it on Trump out of the White House. How stupid do you think we are? We, the people, should have control over our elected officials, not the elected officials having control over we, the people. This is what the revolution was about to begin with that formed this country. How quickly we forget these things. Because education in the last few generations has been dumbed down, and it's been dumbed down on purpose to keep you in the dark so they can get away with the criminal acts that they have pulled in the last 3.5 years or more. The fundamentally change of this country, we were told by Obama when he took office he was going to do it. He got interrupted by a renegade that got elected in 2016. So what did the government do? They turned to persecution of an individual so he could not do his job, but he managed to do it anyway. And he's still fighting. in this New York situation is a travesty. The situation with the other nutcase in Georgia, the same thing. It's all about keeping the power with the people that are suppressing us now, that are costing us more money to eat, to rent, or to own a home. Yet they came up with a program for the illegal immigrants to buy homes interest-free. What about the homeless people that are here? So you're actually telling us that for us to get a better deal, if we're buying a home, we have to run to Mexico, renounce your citizenship, and come into the country illegally, and you can buy a home interest-free. It sounds almost ridiculous. It sounds made up, and it sounds implausible. But yet, it's true. It's unbelievable. Most of what you turn on the mainstream legacy media in here is scripted, and it's unbelievable. All the three-letter agencies have been corrupted and weaponized politically. This is not the way it's supposed to be. And we, the people, need to have our voices heard. So once more, I'll urge you to call your senator today and let them know of your displeasure over whatever that bothers you. Tell them about your feelings on this impeachment. Schumer should not be allowed to run roughshod over an entire Senate and destroy the foundation that it was built on. That's my thoughts for today, Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. And that's enough, I guess, for you to digest, but I had to get it off my chest, and I hope you all feel that you've learned something here, and I hope you all agree, and if you don't, we have the thumbs up down there, and we have a thumbs down. Use it. Use the comment section to tell me what your thoughts are, so I understand if you are thinking differently, and maybe I should adjust my thinking. But I think it's fairly evident to us all what I'm saying is right out there in front of your face. Because as I said yesterday, they don't hide anymore. They tell you exactly what they want to do. So, I wish you all a great day. And please give us a like and share this so more people can hear it. And there's the music. So I'm going to sign out today. Tune in tomorrow for another Kaiser Report. We love you here. And please pray for peace. Bye-bye now.